Hello, welcome. This is the 6 yard reacts. There's another one. Another manager goes through the Tottenham treadmill and falls over and cracks his backside. That's the question. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's happening. That's what we're talking about today. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share. 6 yard reacts. This is 6 yard Bob's reacting. This is my reaction to the Tottenham sacking of Thomas Frank. He's been sacked earlier on today. The club released a statement, and Thomas Frank is gone as the Tottenham manager. And yeah, it's I said it yesterday during the game yesterday that he was going to be sacked. I just had that feeling after yesterday's game. You could see the players, man. They were just walking. They were not running for this manager. They didn't really care about him. Um, the way they were walking around on the pitch, the first half sums it up for me. They were just walking. They pretended that they were running around, and yeah, but you can tell players are not playing for this manager. And I said it during the first half. I was watching that game and I felt really sick to my stomach, to be honest. I felt really sick to my stomach watching that. My stomach was just toning. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Um, and uh, it's one of those whereby you just don't know what you're watching. Basically, I was watching and I was thinking, this is like the stadium was quiet. A friend of mine had a ticket to go and watch the game. He was telling me about it. It was not even a Tottenham fan really. And he was saying just I think around about 6 o'clock or 5:30 or something. He said he had a ticket to go and watch the game, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, I didn't even have the feeling to go and watch that game. To be honest, I didn't even, because I just knew there was just something not right. Everything felt wrong. The players, they were not playing for him. So, if I was Thomas Frank, I would have resigned after last night because you see the body language. Second half, they tried a little bit. And yeah, we've seen this with Tottenham. They keep sacking managers. The same cycle, 5 managers now in the last 5 years probably. It's just shocking, man. It's shocking. We can't continue, like this. As a Tottenham fan, I think most Tottenham fans, you know, they, they, hopefully they have the same feeling. I said it when they sacked Ange as well that I never wanted them to sack Ange. It was just really bad. It was really bad. The way it turned out, and yeah, it was a case of if and not when. I knew they were going to use this window to sack him if he lost yesterday because they've got 12 days between this weekend and the next weekend when we play Arsenal. So they've got like 10, 12, they've got 12 days for them to be able to get somebody in, and the players will be motivated to play against their rival as well. You want to play well against Arsenal. So it was a perfect timing. That's why I said if he lost yesterday, and when he lost that game yesterday, I said it that this guy is gone. He's gone really. So yeah. So the club released a statement saying after results. Let me just find the statement released by the club. I think I got it somewhere. Uh, they, for me, these people, you can't be doing the same thing every single time and believe you know how to run a club. You don't, and it's just a case of you know if you believe if you're doing something and you're still getting it wrong, you've done it how many times and you're getting it wrong, then at the end of the day, you gotta have to give it up, man. You gotta have to give it up. You're doing the same thing all over and over again. You're not getting it right. You get a bunch of people in there that don't even know anything about football or how to run a successful club. You got Vina in there. Don't have anything against anybody. he's not the guy to run Tottenham. One, he used to work for Arsenal. Why are we employing him? I don't know. It's not, when he was at Arsenal, they didn't win anything. They still have not won anything since they won an FA Cup. So there's no record. If we're going to bring people in with a good record of doing a good job. The director of football, Lange, they said he was at Villa. When he was at Villa, they were struggling. Why did Tottenham bring him in? I don't know. This is the kind of stuff you do. Like when you're playing this kind of when you're in this Premier League, when you're going to bring in quality, bring in people that's got the what do you call it, the pedigree, they got the resume to do the job properly. That's what you're there for as a board. That's what you're there for. You're running a club, millions and millions of pounds coming in through sponsorship deals, marketing, fans playing through the gates and all that kind of stuff. You make the right decisions. Make the right decisions. Stick with your decisions. Make the right decision. Get the right manager. Get the right profile. Get make it make sense. Really, what you're doing. You let people see the picture of what you're doing. Anyway, let's go to the statement. The club released a statement saying the club has taken a decision to make a change in the men's head coach position, and Thomas Frank will leave today. Thomas was appointed in June 2025, and we have been determined to give him the time and support needed to build for the future together. However, results and performances have led the board to conclude that a change at this point in the season is necessary. Throughout this time at the ground, Thomas has conducted himself with unwavering commitment, giving everything in his effort to move the club forward. We would like to thank him for his contribution and wish him every success in the future. That's what the club said. And like I said, man, the guy is a good manager. I'm not saying he's not a good manager, but at the club at Tottenham, at Brentford, I can't remember. I think it was last season they went like 6 or 7 games or 8 games without a win. He's not going to get criticized that much. Tottenham is a big club, in London as well. There's a lot of focus, a lot of attention, a lot of eyes on him, and that's one thing. The second thing as well is like he's never managed in Europe before, and it's a different beast because you can have all the technical knowledge you want. Those midweek games, especially in Europe, you don't really have time to do a lot of coaching on the pitch. All you have time is players play Saturday, recover, train a couple of days during the week, or fly off to play in another country. You only have your motivational skills basically because you've done the work. You know how you're gonna play, and then it's all about can you motivate players. And I keep saying to people, you can have all the skills, all the technical knowledge in the world. If you can't motivate those players to run around and follow your instruction, and they believe in what you're saying, then you're in trouble. And that's what happens. A couple of games into the season, he was calling players back. They walked past him. I've never seen that happen before between a manager and a player. I've never seen that happen before between them. Players can get angry when they are taken off. They can get angry when they're when they don't, I don't know, when they are not playing or whatever, which is understandable. But for a player to actually walk off the pitch and the manager is telling them to come over and they just walk past him, I've never seen that before. And those are the kind of stuff those are the kind of signals that you get earlier on in the season. I know there's a lot of injuries, I know that, but for me the pattern of play seems a little bit too negative. I'm going to break it down in a little bit because I've got a list of stuff I want to talk about in terms of Thomas Frank. We're going to talk about who's going to take over, or the people that they are looking at to take over. And it's one of those ones. So let's get straight into it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share. If you want to comment, send me comments in and all that kind of stuff. What do you think about the situation at Tottenham? Do you think they'll get it right? Let's go through the list of stuff I want to talk about. So I've done the intro. Let's talk about the latest Spurs collapse. So, in terms of this sacking of Thomas Frank, the latest collapse is yesterday. When we were looking at yesterday's game, in terms of Tottenham, you can see from the off, the team was not playing well defensively all over the place. They were standing around. Players were walking to close people down. There was no intensity. First half, we were playing like defensive kind of formation. We were not pressing. I don't know why I didn't tell them to go and press, but I don't know why. But Newcastle basically just popped the ball around. It was just painful. I was watching that game and my stomach was turning like I was sick because I just couldn't believe what I was watching. At home especially, the stadium was dead. And Newcastle scored the first goal. They could have scored about 3 or 4 in the first half. Tottenham got lucky. They only got one. One goal was chalked up for offside. Tottenham got back into the game in the second half. They got a goal, good goal from what's his name, from Archie Gray. The manager for me, I don't know. As soon as we scored that goal, we went back into our shells, and it's. I watched it and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe what I was watching. At the end of the day, sometimes buck stops with the manager. I know it's easier said than done because at the end of the day, you only can work with what you have. But because when we had all the players, some of the players playing then, our football was not good enough. Patterns of play was not clear enough. We were not creating a lot of chances. Now that we are struggling with injuries, that's what people are still thinking about. That's what everyone is looking at. So it's the way you set yourself up that the way you set yourself up, or this way you set up your team to play. That's what people will look at, even in good times or bad times. And they understand. Even if it changes a little bit. But Frank, that's the way. That's what he knows. That's what the way he plays. So yeah, that was the latest collapse basically. That was yesterday. Moving on to the next thing on the list of reasons why I think Frank was sacked. Uh, like yesterday, key moments that changed the match yesterday for me. Key moments. Some of the players were not really, in terms of passing the ball, they were making wrong decisions, and that's what comes down to players, you know, not confident enough to play the kind of football they want to play, and playing under a lot of pressure. So you can see a couple of moments where Gallagher kicked the ground. There was a pass that was supposed to go to I can't remember who it was on the counter, and that player couldn't make that pass. There were players running into each other. It was just those are the kind of moments that you see that was happening in that match that you just looked at and I can tell that there was a lot of problems yesterday. Tactical issues under Frank. I think this one everybody could see because every time I watch Tottenham, I can see we have players on the ball trying to set up plays, and if you look around, the nearest players, it just feels like the players are hiding, and it just feels like we are basically trying to play counter-attacking football sometimes when we don't need to. Like we need to set off and go after the opponents and try and dictate the pace of the game, especially at home. Um, Played 4-2-3-1, and we never really played the ball in between the lines. For me, yesterday I was watching. There was only one person in between the lines at times. Uh, you know, um, we don't get the ball for crosses in. But, we don't play through the middle, especially in the middle. We normally go long every single time. Not long passes at times. And I think that's just the tactical approach, the way we are set up to play. You know, trying to play counter-attacking football at home don't work. Especially if you are not solid at the back, or difficult to beat. And yesterday he played Bissouma in midfield, where what's his name? Palhinha was on the bench. He brought Palhinha on the second half. I don't know why he did that. So I just think tactically, I think sometimes he worries a lot about what the opposition is going to do instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to go after you and I'm going to make you press you. I'm going to make you play the way I want to play. But yeah, it's it could be a case of maybe he still needs enough time to work with the players before the players buy into him. But because of the position in the league, there's pressure on him. So that's one of the reasons I think tactically I don't think the way he wants to play suits the Tottenham players, especially when they've played under Ange last for 2 seasons, and then they've changed it to play in a more practical way. Occasionally they play good football against City away, play good football, but I think tactically it is a lot more difficult to to go after teams, especially from what he was used to doing when he was at Brentford. Player performance breakdown in terms of player performance. If you look at all these players, some of the players under him, they really improved. Not really. He sold John Johnson, Tottenham's highest goal scorer, which everybody found out baffling. We never brought in a replacement. Yeah, he said they wanted to go and buy Semenyo. Semenyo was never coming to Tottenham. Why he got rid of Johnson, I wouldn't know. The week before he got rid of Johnson, Kudus got injured. Most of the players under him, some of the players have regressed a little bit. When you have your defenders, your centre backs scoring most of your goals from set pieces, you're not creating chances from open play. That's a lot of problems. And it's not only Frank's fault because they employed him. The people that employed him, the people that did the due diligence, people that researched him, looked at his football, you know, everybody likes Brentford when Frank was the manager, but I never thought for once that as a Tottenham fan that Frank would be the person that I would want to go to become a Tottenham manager, and I think most Tottenham fans would say that as well. So in terms of the players, I don't think any players have, apart from the centre backs that are scoring goals. In terms of their performances, they've not really improved at all. The players were playing as if they were just trying, but they were not really committed to what they were trying to do. So you can tell they are not really fully committed to what he was telling them to do. Um, and why did Tottenham keep falling down the table, sinking lower during the table? It's down to the manager, because at the end of the day, the players were not motivated by what he was saying. I believe if it was Ange, if it was Ange that was still the Tottenham manager, I understand 110% believe Tottenham wouldn't be in this kind of position. There might be 7 or 8 or something, but we won't be in this kind of position with the kind of football we play under him, and the players being with him for 2 years with this squad as well that he's got now. We have a better squad now compared to when Ange was around, and I just think um, that's the reason. I think the players gave up occasionally because every single game was like the same. First half they would sit back, be like really passive. Second half they come out and they give it. They run around and they try and get a goal. Yesterday they didn't even do that in the second half. So I think that's the reason why Tottenham kept dropping down the table, and the board had to do something because we can't go into the next game against Arsenal and getting smashed forward in like 5 or 4 in the first half. The stadium will erupt. People will be, there will be people saying, throwing stuff, So the board, in my opinion, the board made the right call now because they've got to do something. What's the next thing on the agenda? What this means for their season, for the season for Tottenham, is for me it means. There's hope basically if they're getting the right person that could motivate the players for the next couple of games. I think the season is just starting the season, I never thought we were going to finish in the top four. I was saying Europa League or a good cup run, but we've done well in the Champions League, fourth in the table in the Champions League, and then Premier League performances just kept nosediving. Injuries after injury, almost every other day we keep getting injuries. And one thing I hate when teams, fans of other clubs come out and say, yeah, we too have injuries. No, your injuries are not as bad compared to when, especially last season under Ange. Imagine Arsenal without Gabriel, Saliba, Saka, Rice for almost 3 or 4 months of the season. Just imagine that. So that's what Tottenham, that's what Ange did last season. I'm not talking about this season. We still had injuries, but with the players that we have, we should still be above the position we are in right now. So I can't remember the last time I've been in this Tottenham have been in this position, but we have to play ourselves out of it really. So what it means for the season, it means nothing yet. We still have 12 games to go, but they've got to get the person in, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the players will listen, get motivated, and start winning games, because we can get dragged into this position. Uh, Nothing is impossible, to be honest. And I don't think I'll be. I think I'll have to leave the country if Tottenham get relegated. To be honest, I don't think I'll want to watch Premier League football ever again. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Final thoughts about the sacking of Frank. I think is the right thing to do. Really, I think it's the right thing to do. Whether it's too late or early, I don't know. I think the board had to do something. They don't know what they're doing. To be honest, they've shown they don't. The board don't know what they're doing. They've sacked this man. They sacked managers left, right, and center. They need to eventually get it right at some point. I can't believe that the club will be in this kind of situation after last season. Um, what I thought they were going to do last season was to give Ange support, like in the second season when we had after that first season when Ange finished fifth. We gave him Solanke, Bugval, and Odebat as first team players, first team signings, and Achigwe as well. In a season where we're playing Champions League, that sums up how Tottenham, how the board and everybody at Tottenham, how they think. I don't think they understand football that well. You know, and yeah, I think at some point they've got to get it right. And if they don't get it right, they should just please sell the club, because as a Tottenham fan, and I know most Tottenham fans feel the same. People that are not Tottenham fans, they don't understand. That's why I was so glad that Ange won that cup last season for Tottenham. And you get fans turning their nose at that trophy. You get fans saying, yeah, but you won the trophy. It was a weak competition. Like, Tottenham fans saying a cup that they've won is not is nothing because the competition was weak. I can't believe. Sometimes I just look at some fans. I hear some fans talk, and I just look at it and think, the same Tottenham that has never won anything for 17 years, and that's how some people sometimes underplay or underestimate the importance of some of their achievements sometimes. And I think it applies to some people in life as well, in everyday life, because you achieve something, you look at it and you go, oh yeah, I've gone down there. You don't appreciate it that well, and then you basically look down on it. And this is something that you might have worked for. So, and it surprises me that the fans of Tottenham, some fans are talking about Ange and going, oh yeah, but it was rubbish in the league. Looking at that season that we had, if we didn't win the cup, yeah, I 110% agree that it would have been a bad season. But for me, because we won that cup, it was a testament to the manager, because he kept saying I am going to win this cup, and the players bought into that as well, and they delivered. All he needed in season 3 was to be backed. You know, season 3 would have been a season whereby the players must have learned a lot that okay, we can win with this manager. They would have understood the manager a lot more in terms of the system he wants to play. Because I saw an interview last season when Van der Ven was saying something about like in that season they actually understood, they started understanding the system a lot more in terms of the positions they need to be on the pitch. Imagine it took a whole season for him to say that in season 2. So one, you have a manager that's won something, everybody buys into it. 2, the players understand the system a lot more. 3, Ange learns a lot about the Premier League as well in terms of the way he can adapt his football. And 4, the board can actually say, okay, you know what? Now we need quality players. 1, 2, 3 top players to come in and and put pressure on the first team so we can, because if we have competition in a team, the performance will go up, go through the roof. So that's the opportunity this board missed last season, for you to build on something and get the team, the manager, all playing in the same direction off the back of a good cup run and a win in the Europa League. So I think that's something that they missed that boat. So yeah, going forward, final thoughts for me is just like, please, I just hope they get this right. They get this right. They've been looking at other managers that's going to be taking over from Frank. They're looking at Redknapp. He said he's up for it. Tim Sherwood is up for it. De Zerbi just left his job yesterday. There might be a reason. I prefer De Zerbi. If you might as well give him the job now for me. If it's De Zerbi, give him the job now full time. Poch obviously is with the United States of America after the World Cup. And I think his contract ends maybe a couple of weeks before the season starts with America. Before this, that's when the contract finishes. So if he's gonna start a job here, he's gonna start a job a week before the season starts. So if they're gonna get Poch, maybe they have to go and speak to the American FA and get a compensation package or something to get him off the contract, at least by at the end of the World Cup, which is July or something. So that's when maybe that's when the World Cup ends as well. So because it's a bigger World Cup this year, so I think it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to get Poch in. I'll go for De Zerbi. People have been saying he's a nutter or whatever. I like the kind of football he plays. Go for De Zerbi or the Palace manager, but for me, I prefer De Zerbi, Poch, or Iraola at Bournemouth. Those are my my preference really. But yeah, we are again another video. I think I've done 3 videos in the last 3 years now in terms of Tottenham sacking managers, and it's really tiring. So it's 12 midnight now, and just said I should do this. I think I'll be coming on a lot more live to do all these interactive shows and get more people talking. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is the 6-yard box. Tottenham have sacked their manager Thomas Frank, and he's the next one on the chopping block for Tottenham, and we'll see who they're gonna pick on Monday. There's been a lot of stories coming out of the camp in terms of players talking and all that. We're gonna get all that, but now we'll see the players now. When the new manager comes in, they are not playing for the new manager now. They are playing for themselves and they're playing for the club. Because if they don't perform for this new manager, then we know that some of them don't have the backbone. Because if you go down the Championship, you're going to lose people their jobs in the Premier League. People that work every day at that club. People that take care of you, make sure you're okay, you're good. The ordinary people, the day-to-day people that work for that club, some of them might lose their job if the club goes down into the Championship. So you have to roll up your sleeves and dust yourself down and perform. And I don't think we'll go down. I think we have enough players coming back as well. So yeah, I think Kudus could be back as soon. Kudu might be back soon as well, and a couple of others. Romero is going to miss 3 more games. So yeah, it's sad. It's sad as a Tottenham fan. It's just really really sad. It's tiring. It's just really it's stressful to every single time. Another manager. So yeah, but Valentine's Day is over this weekend. Make sure you take your missus out or take your family out and go and enjoy. If you're a Tottenham fan, don't worry about Tottenham for the next 12 days. And hopefully they'll get it right eventually. They've got it right once or twice with Poch, with Conte in a way, with Ange. Hopefully they'll get it right, and they should just stick to a system of play and get the manager in to fit that system of play. Director of football that wants to play that way, and then get players that fit into that system. When you go sign another player or you change managers, make sure the manager fits into the system that you've set up. So for 3 seasons, get this. Look at Bournemouth. Just look at Bournemouth and Brighton. The way the framework is over there, and Tottenham should just copy that. But with Tottenham, you have a bigger budget, so you can get a little bit. You can get better players. And look at Brighton, look at Bournemouth, look at their recruitment as well. Look at the players they're buying. Look at Ryan, the player they signed. Bournemouth just signed him this window for the 19-year-old. We couldn't get a winger. That boy could play for Tottenham. So those are the kind of stuff that Tottenham, this board or these people running this club, they just need to look at clubs that are doing it around them and just copy that playbook, copy that framework. That's all they need to do. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like, share. Let me know what you think. If you're a Tottenham fan, if you're not a Tottenham fan as well, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching.